Hello YouTubers, today's video is a review of my Garmin 785 GPS and my Welluck tire pressure monitoring system. A little update on a couple of my upgrades is one on my Garmin RV785. I've used this on several trips, and just like on my RV660, I've been very happy with this. It works very much the same. The commands are pretty much the same. The graphics are the same. I do like the way it picks up or points. Say a command. I do like the way it points out the exits to get off. Has a few other features which I don't use, and that's because of the position of the Garmin. One is going to be it monitors. It's got the front view camera, which monitors your position in your lane and warns you when you're getting either too far to the left or too far to the right. It'll also record as you're driving as far as what's in front of you, and you can turn that on and off just by giving the voice command. Again, I don't use that because of the position that I have on my dash. Speaking of dashboards, please excuse the dust all over mine. I live on a dirt road and I really didn't take the time to clean it up before I did this video. I like it where it's at because it's easy to look at. I just kind of glance over and I don't have any kind of issues with that. And then also the space just below the mirror above my radio and screen is my monitor for my cameras. I'm not showing that right now. However, I can tell you that the rear camera has gone out on me on my Haloview RD7, and that camera I do have on reorder, which is kind of pricey. I do have to pay for it because the camera is over a year old. So, and that's all the warranty was for, is just for 1 year. So back to the Garmin. Another item that I did buy, and I like it real well, is the mount that I currently have, which is a GPS apps to car CD slot mount. And this has really worked out rather nice. I've got that right there on attached to the back of my Garmin, and I've replaced the knob that was on the top, or that holds it in, with this, which is just a socket head cap screw. It gives me a little bit more room to get in with my fingers, and I found that the actual knob used to interfere with some of my buttons. This does stay in rather well. I was very, very concerned about that. I thought that it would slide out relatively easy, in that the stability with the Garmin on it would be a little bit unstable. But I found that I can mount it in any kind of position and it stays pretty much in place. You get on some bumpy roads, it may affect it, but other than that, it's done real well. Again, it's worked real well with my Garmin. I found that I don't use my CD player, basically because I have XM radio and I can pick out whatever genre I want to watch or listen to. So it's a little bit out of the way, or in the way of my air conditioning controls, but I can live with it, especially when I'm using my Garmin for travel. So that is definitely a thumbs up. By the way, I'll be giving all these items review, or the links in my reviews or in the comment section to show you how to get them. Now hopefully this will stay in focus. I'm having a little problems with that. But this is another item that has worked out quite well, and that's my Welluck tire pressure monitoring system, which I also got through Amazon, and I will leave the links in the comments. But this has worked out well. My two complaints on it is one, the screen has a tendency to be a little bit too dim. Other than that, it works real well. I don't have a problem, as a rule, reading it. It's constantly monitoring all four tires that I have on the camper, and since I did get a 6 tire monitoring system, I use one of the caps, extra caps, I put that on my spare tire, and that's worked out pretty well. Not that I really need to monitor my pressure on my spare tire, but it's always nice to know that you do have a tire, or your spare tire has enough pressure to do the job in the case that you have a flat or you need to replace one of the tires on the way to wherever you're going. One other issue that I found with it, it does have a repeater, which I have mounted at the front of the camper. I'm not showing that at this time, but it's just a little simple repeater antenna that's hooked up to the battery. I located it in between my 30-pound tanks that I have on the front of the camper, and that extends my reach so I don't have any issues like I used to have with my previous tire pressure monitoring system. The one thing about it though, it's hooked up to the battery. I have not found a way of shutting it off, with the exception of pulling out the fuse at the end of the battery cable. But if it's not plugged in, if it is plugged or hooked up to the battery and the fuse is in, that relay is constantly beeping. And there was one night when I was actually laying in bed, which is at the front of the camper, and I could hear that beep. So that's a bit on the annoying side. Again, that can be remedied by just pulling a fuse when you're not using or traveling with the camper. And but there's always that risk that you're going to take off without plugging it in, and then you won't have the repeater. The monitor seems to be working pretty well. So again, I like this real well. I do have noticed when I first turn it on, it is very bright. So, but it does have a tendency to dim down after a little while. So, but once you get used to it, it's pretty nice. I've charged this up once with a 12-volt charger, but since then, even though in the position that it's at, it gets enough sunlight to keep it charged up on a permanent basis. I've not had to recharge that at all, and that's since I purchased that in July. So again, this has been a pretty good item. YouTubers, this is my Haloview rear camera that came with my RD7 rear camera or monitoring system, which has failed on me. Unfortunately, it is out of warranty, so I'm going to be replacing it. Total cost on something like that runs about $190 because of the style of camera, and it does come with a repeater and a cord to go to the very end. This is my new replacement Haloview rear camera, and also it's got the repeater on it as well. In the box, of course, you've got your instructions, and this is probably, if you follow these instructions and compare it to your present unit, this will help you out a great deal. I don't know if you can see this very well, but one of my problems was on the repeater, and it clearly tells you where it shows you where the signal indicator is, and also the power indicator. And it also has on the side, which is right here, that is your power button or your pairing button. That is extremely important for you. Even though when the new one comes, it's already paired up, the replacement you will have to pair, or at least I did. You're also going to have some 3M tape for it. Down here on the instructions, it'll show you what the symbols are all going to mean. You know, like if the power's on, if it's when it's pairing, and when it is paired. Very important information. And then on the bottom of the sheet, or I should say more like in the middle, this will give you both configurations, where you've got your power supply set up and how you've got it set up for your how do I want to say it, your repeater. Now on my configuration, I've got my repeater up at the very front. Then I've run my cable back. It splits off, goes to the power, and then the other line goes to the camera. Now in the box, you will get the camera. Of course, this is the old one. I've already changed it out. Very, very simple to do. All you have to do is unscrew the fasteners or the socket cap screws from each side of the mount. They do give you an Allen wrench. I have got the same size Allen end, and I find this is a lot easier to use if it's with a screwdriver grip. You get all the fasteners, you get replacement fasteners that goes into the new camera. Use them. Use them, use them, use them. You also have the 3M tape so you can mount the repeater onto your roof or wherever you're going to put it. I use butyl tape. And then you also got some other fasteners that you can use to mount your camera or the bracket onto the unit or onto your camper. Now also included, you'll have more cable to run from your camera to your repeater. And then underneath the bottom, there is another power supply hookup. You have another splitter. I used my own. And you've got more of the fasteners, or your 3M fasteners where you can tie down your cable. I didn't have to use any. I just basically replaced my repeater and the camera. That took care of the problem once I paired it. Again, this is more than what you really need, and I did not need the cable, but the camera and is about all I really used out of this box, and the repeater. That took care of my problem. Once I paired it, which is very easy to do, camera works fine. I hope you enjoyed this review of the Garmin 785 GPS and the Welluck tire pressure monitoring system. And if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And most of all, thanks for watching.